Hello and welcome to the Gloves Are Off Overtime Edition. I'm Moses Boulder and I'm pleased to be joined by these two fine gentlemen. Andrew Brethauer.
How's it going?
Not too bad. And Greg Welsh, of course, a MMA fighter who is going to turn boxer, turn philanthropist. I don't know. Whatever titles you want to throw out there.
We got a busy day.
There you go. But pleasure to have you on, my friend. And we'll kick off, I guess, where we left off on the show, starting off with some more MMA. Toothpick Gate is what they're calling it. Anything that is apparently controversial, they'll add a hyphen in the word gate. This case.
Clever.
Yeah, well, that's what they call it. Unoriginal, perhaps. But nevertheless, Benson Henderson, known for fighting with a toothpick. It's not illegal, but a lot of people are criticizing him for it, saying that's a big risk. I want to ask you, Greg, and I'll start off with you. Is this actually a real story?
It happens, so I guess it's a story, but is it like news? No, like who cares? The guy got a toothpick in his mouth. It's ridiculous. It's like why? Why would you do that? But I mean, he did it. He won the fight, crazy good fight. So if it worked for him, keep doing it.
What do you make of this? Should he like you got to think of the health risks. Like is there just, like something there? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. What do you say?
Well, first off, sports media, we can make a story of anything.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah.
Anything that's, I'm sure, Maple Leafs changed their Tim Hortons order. We can change that. But I can't understand the logic of putting something sharp and pointy in your mouth while you're getting punched in the face.
It's crazy.
Like, I still just can't, I can't wrap around my logic to actually give you a solid answer on this because I don't understand why. He says it's not a superstition. It's just something he can't get away from doing. Just a definition of a superstition, but it's just, I don't understand why he has to do this. And
they need a follow-up on it to find out if it's a mint toothpick. That is your mission, to find out if it's one of those minty toothpicks, because then it makes sense.
At least make some.
Maybe it's got to have a rounded edge on it, so therefore he won't actually puncture a lung or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, it makes no sense. Like, how do you fight like that? Because if I'm his opponent, I know this now. I'm going for that.
Toothpick punch.
Yeah, try and get something to swallow that. TKO has a new meaning now.
But he's had this issue before where he was actually in training and he nearly choked on it.
It was something about him and his coach from the lab, John Crouch. They were rolling or something, and he got stabbed in the mouth with the toothpick. And then another time he was doing something that had the toothpick in. His mom hollered at him. He almost swallowed the toothpick or something. So toothpicks have been an issue. It's an ongoing thing with this guy.
He's going to hurt himself in a severe way. All right, well, from hurting yourself to maybe hurting the budget, the Ottawa Senators, 4 years, $19.5 million or so for Marc Methot. Really? 4.9 a season for him? Yeah. Is that even worth it? Like, am I wrong to say, think that's a little absurd?
No. I went and looked up his stats because I wanted to see what we're getting here for this kind of money. And he hasn't put up an over 30-point season at all.
Wow.
I don't know what you're buying. And if you think he's an elite defenseman, where he's going to be the shutdown guy, I can think of a lot of guys you can go out and buy for that kind of money who's going to bring in that kind of stability in the back end. Marc Methot is not the solid stay-at-home defenseman I think anybody's thinking of. But I don't understand. I still don't understand when they were going over this whole thing and it's we need to re-sign Marc Methot. Why? I didn't understand who Marc Methot actually was until this all started. So
I think he's like a fifth, sixth defenseman. At best. Maybe you put him as a fourth guy, but
you pay him that money.
Exactly. Do you think that maybe Ottawa overspent a little bit? Do you think that's too much for a guy?
I'm not a big. I don't know too much about this whole thing, but the way you guys described it, man, I think they're doing something wrong. Keep that money.
When you figure that you're paying Erik Karlsson $7 million and you're paying him $2 million shy, you got to figure you're getting something great out of that. And if you look at all the major defensemen in the NHL. $4.9 million will get you a very good defenseman. Marc Methot is not in that level of defenseman I'm going to pick for $4.9 million. I guess the hometown deal he got, but
no kidding.
I don't know. That's just I don't know.
From one guy who's shaking his head. How about this? This got me shaking my head, Andrew. Okay, now we're well versed when it comes to criticism. We receive it from the emails, from people you talk on the street. Even some people on Twitter will kind of joke, or we even razz each other a little bit on Twitter. I'm sure you've probably dealt with the same thing. Now, if you're a professional athlete, you got to take that to the next level because, well, not saying the player, but the amount of criticism. Robert Griffin III seems like a child in this case, and the reason why I say that, because he was squabbling with friends on Instagram. or not friends, but critics on Instagram about his poor performance over the last 2 seasons. Now, does he have any right to criticize them, or does this make him just look as bad as he is, and perhaps the player that Washington regrets now giving up 4 draft picks?
Bust.
You think so?
Well, he's a good player. You know, individually, but that's a quarterback thing. You're an individual player that can lead people, you know. But I don't know, man. Fighting about people that think you are not doing a good job on Twitter, they can they can say whatever they want about you. Like anybody can say whatever they want about you, especially if they're paying money to watch you. You're not performing. You're gonna hear about it. Like that's just how it is.
Yeah, fans are always going to criticize. And I think as a player, you need to know when to zip it and not talk. And this is a prime example of a guy who hasn't played great and wants to talk to the fans who are criticizing.
If you're not putting up the numbers, keep your mouth shut.
Pretty much. Like if you're not, and with all respect to him as well, you know, he hasn't had the greatest coaching and the greatest team to play with as well. And he has had injuries as well. So there's a lot. I think it's not as easy to say he's a bust because he's had all this, and he needs a solid regime in there that hopefully they have now, which I don't think they do. But it's one of those things again. It's if you take out the injuries, you take out the the bad coaching systems.
Could be totally different.
Yeah, the first year he was great. Second, third year not so much. So I think this might be a make or break season for RG3.
All right. Well, you guys certainly made it and didn't break it. So you guys did a fantastic job. Andrew, as usual, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
And thank you, Greg. We appreciate you coming down. Also, we'll give a huge plug to, I guess you're also coaching, getting yourself ready for, well, not so much the MMA season, but you're planning to take a new venture outside of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, I'm doing some coaching at Torrent, which is brand new to me because I was the guy that got coached. You know what I mean? I thought, okay, coach, I'll go do that. But now it's like I'm trying to show these guys what to do and stuff, which is quite different, but it's fun. I like it. But I'm thinking about maybe taking a boxing match here in Edmonton in late June or middle June. So we'll see how that all plays out. I'm pretty old right now, so I might break a hip or something. Who knows? I'm clumsy. So we'll see how that all plays out in the near future, and I will let you know if that happens.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you having you on here, Greg, and thank you guys as well for joining us on the Overtime Edition. You can tune in every Tuesday night on CIATL for the show at 7:30 and come back to the OT page when we're not done gabbing. So in the meantime, we will see you in 7 days. Take care.